an African who knows that he stands for. I am an African who knows the struggle that other Africans are facing today. And an African that come from a very humble village, an African that is African by skin, an African by blood, an African by mind of Africans. I'm not brainwashed by white-minded people. It doesn't matter whether I do business with them, whether I hug them, whether I laugh with them. But the thing is that knowing myself, the thing is that knowing myself that I am African, in African nation, is very a purpose to me, an important thing to me. We understand as Africans that in some way and other round we need to export our own produce good. The time of exporting our minerals not being manufactured by our own people in our own country is a waste, and it must come to an end. It must come to an end. I don't know the people who call themselves presidents, the people who call themselves mayor and councillors. What are their purpose? Because you don't see their purpose in our community. I mean disadvantaged community. I mean those struggle communities in our villages. Do they see how people suffer? Do they see the struggle? I don't know whether they see it. Today, they made us believe that politics are powerful than us as people. But the confusing thing and confusing thing is that when they want votes, they come to the same community that they look down on it when they are in those higher positions. They don't see us anymore. I'm not painting all Africans. I'm not painting all parties that are there and published. I'm not painting all of them, but I'm saying I'm painting the sellouts. I'm painting the one who think for their own stomach. I'm painting the one who think don't have a visionary for this country and this continent. I'm painting those kind of leaders whom as us as an Africans, I mean real Africans, will not tolerate that. We will not tolerate that. As an African, I'm not afraid to speak the truth as an African. I'm not afraid to speak for my own people, African people, for my own people who live in villages, for my own people who are struggling out there with water, who are struggling out there with food, who are struggling out there with transport, who are struggling out there with good education, who are struggling out there with those things that are happening in our community, and those things are caused by these so-called politician leaders who don't care for people, and who take our money to enrich themselves, who take our own tax money that they tax us each and every day, and they go around with a happy faces and smile with our own taxes that we pay each and every day. Those are our own tax. These people are using the formula of which African leaders were using. These people, so-called politics, are using the same formula that in Africa we're using. We can survive with or without the government of this politician thing. We can survive. But because each and everything have time, and each and everything have system to work on, yes, we have seen the good thing that have changed. Yes, we have seen the changes throughout the year. But are those changes enough for the people, or enough for certain people? That is my question. How can you be a leader sleeping with a full stomach and other Africans who you say you are leading them, suffering day out and day in, suffering for food, suffering with expensive food that they are selling on the shops, suffering for expensive transport, suffering to get job? The unemployment thing is an serious issue to each and a young African man, to each and young African woman. It is a painful thing, and we can't ignore it. Whether you like it or not, we can't ignore it. You are an African, and don't be brainwashed by the mind of white. You see, today, as African and as African continent, today those all nations that are out there are surviving because of this continent, are surviving because of this blessed continent that God has put us on it. But today those white people are surviving because of this continent and the people of this continent. But because they don't want you to see the truth, they don't want you to see what it is real, they are flattering you. Yes, you will not see the truth because you are not seeking the truth. You are afraid of the truth, and the truth ya go thothomedisha, e go dira gore o be weak because it's the truth. Because today we have seen that people are afraid of the truth. Most black people are afraid of the truth. And I will not as a person, I will not as an African, I will not as an ordinary people living in those privileged village, those suffering village, those struggling villages where we walk a 10 to 20 kilometer to go to school. Those village that we struggle for transport, those village that we struggle for food, for electricity. I will speak for my people. I will speak for my people. My people will not suffer while I'm here and still living. I'm very different person where I can die for my people. I'm not afraid to die for my people. I'm not afraid to die for my people. The next generation will not suffer the way we are suffering. The next generation will not suffer the way we are suffering. We can't allow this thing of this curse by white people to manipulate us, and so that we can be shaken and do. We will not allow it. So what I'm saying now is that as people of Africans, whether rich or poor, as today we see that there are rich African and poor of the poorest African. What do you think when you sleep as a rich African and see that there are Africans that are on street? There are Africans that they are there living like animals. What does your consciousness say? What does your consciousness say? As an African, if we don't care for one another, these people will treat us the same as they treat our grandfathers long time ago. We will be their slave if we don't help one another in other way around. It's not about giving food, it's not about giving money to the poor, but at least play some different role, create a job for those people, do something for those people, go to the community, listen to them. Whether you are a businessman, whether you are politic, whether you are what, it doesn't matter. Pan-Africanism is when you act upon each and African person to change the life of the African. That is Pan-Africanism. To change the life You can do enough when you change someone life. It can be a one person in that community. The entire community it is changed. The entire community it is changed. But what are you saying about you not helping one another? When you are a rich man in South Africa, you see another a African person as an enemy. You see another African person as a criminal. You see another African as a thief. Why? Because of you have everything, but you are afraid to live happily with what you have because you know that people are starving. The thing is that you don't think for that people. You must think for that people. How can I change these people? How I can make this community to be a better community? And then you are coming with a solution. You are coming with a solitary solution to the people. There are many things that can be done in this land of our forefathers. They didn't fight for us to be led by politics. They didn't fight, then they didn't die for us to lead by this politician. They didn't fight for that, but they fight for each and every black person to walk freely, to be happy, to be independent, to own and rule each and every person. Yes, there are Africans that have been brainwashed. We can even see the leaders that are leading us today, that they are also brainwashed. Some of them. When I say the lead, I say some of them. Some of them are not brainwashed, yes. And then it is difficult thing as a leader to stand firm to what you are saying, because we have seen this is not time for saying, this is time for action. You must see the action of our leader, whether they are for the blacks or what. We are tired of them wearing suit and standing in front of us saying the things that they will not even achieve or fulfill, saying the speeches that they 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 don't even accomplish them. We are tired. This is time for action. And if they are not taking action, we will take action for ourselves, for our people in South Africa, for our people in African nation. We are tired of nonsense. We are tired of nonsense, and we will not tolerate nonsense anymore. My people today are suffering. My people today are facing different challenges. My people today are being depressed. My people today are emotionally distressed. My people today, they are not smiling. My people today, they 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 don't know what is right and wrong. My people today, they are not okay. And that is a painful thing for an African woman, for an African man today. It's really a painful thing. And I can't sleep and watch my people suffering. I can't sleep and watch my people being living like this as an animals. This must come to an end. This must come to an end. And an ending time is the time we have now. Living with flesh and spirit is the time we are living now.